MXTV is proudly brought to you by Swan Insurance, protecting motorcyclists since 1956. And Motor, quality oils for more than 150 years.
Hello everyone and welcome to MXTV. I'm Lee Hogan, joined once again by Brendan Bell. Welcome, Belly.
Thanks, Lee.
Well, tonight's show is looking to be as big as ever.
Oh, it certainly is, mate. We've got a massive show because in tonight's show, we speak to the MX Nationals director, Kevin Williams. Jeff Emig was out for the 2015 shift launch. Macca's back with blokes and their bikes. Jamie and I have a ride at Hattah. Lee and Luke review the 2015 KX250F. All that and more, Lee. Get ready for a big one.
Settle down, Belly. Well, recently the 2015 shift launch was held. The shift brought out former AMA motocross champion and recently turned commentator Jeff Emig to help out with the gig. And of course, Fox Australia's product manager Mick Sinclair was there. Have a bit of a chat with Jeff. Let's hear what he said.
Hey guys, Mick Sinclair here from Fox. Tonight we are here in Melbourne at the 2015 Fox and Shift launch. We're so lucky to have none other than MX legend here, Jeff Emig. Hey, what are you doing out here?
Well, presenting Shift MX, the 2015 line, along with Mark Finley, who's here. I'm presenting the 2015 line of Fox Racing.
During your presentation, you took us through the history of Shift right from the very beginning. Give us a super brief version.
Shift launched at the end of 1996. We launched this whole new brand, which at the time people didn't know that it was a Fox brand. They thought that it was a completely different entity. And yeah, we've had a lot of fun since then. It's gone through a lot of different phases, but the brand hasn't been as strong as it is now since 99 or 2000. So we're really proud of what we are producing now, proud of the athletes and what we have going on.
Give us your most favorite memory or the coolest time you've had representing the brand, parties, some of your race wins. What's your favorite one?
Well, just being a part of when I was first presented with the Shift brand and the designs and everything. And initially when I signed the first contract with Shift and the type of reception that I received from everyone at Fox, I knew that I was in the right place, that I'd signed a contract with the right company. I had no idea that in 2014, this many years later, that everyone in the company and the brand, that they would all feel like family to me. So yeah, it's pretty cool to still be involved with the brand after this many years.
And what are you doing with the brand now? You've obviously retired.
That's what everybody asks, especially when I'm at the office. People are like, what is that Jeff Emig guy? What does he do?
You got a Foxhead email address. What do you do?
Right now, I'm the intergalactic ambassador for Shift MX.
Yeah, well, we definitely couldn't ask for a better bloke to have, mate. We got a heap of people here that want to catch up with you. Thanks so much for coming out here. We want you back here next year.
It's okay, cool, man. Thank you.
Well, Macca's back with blokes and their bikes, and this week he's going to check out an old CR. Let's take a look.
G'day everyone, Macca here again with more blokes and their bikes. Now today I'm on location in sunny Queensland at the Conondale Classic, and with me here today is Shane Wilson. Now I'm really excited because today I get to talk about one of my favourite bikes in the whole world, is the mighty Red Devil CR250R.
It's virtually a period correct 79 Honda. This particular run of bike come out 78 and 79. In 1980 they changed the frame on them. They went to a twin spar front frame on it, whereas this is the original single bar front frame. The first 78 model were a very, very peaky bike to ride. So they changed the porting, changed the port timing and that on them. Other things were just minor changes, slight changes to the carburettor. They still all ran the same wheels, shock absorbers and things like that, but the standard shocks were no good. So everybody got rid of those and put the Fox on there, which were the unofficial factory rear shock from.
How long did it take you, and was there any sort of major dramas, sourcing parts and stuff when you actually rebuilding it?
The thing with vintage is your best friend is eBay. These bikes were extremely popular, and the first model, and these models are Elsinores, Americans loved them, and they sold thousands of them in America. They were a really popular bike over there. And the world's so small now with getting on eBay, finding parts. I didn't really have too much trouble sourcing too many things. The rear pipe's a DG muffler. The front pipe, is a Jeff Morris concept pipe. He's a local bloke from Victoria. And everything else, some parts are still available off Honda, very few. Most of everything else you can just buy out of the States.
How long did it take you to actually rebuild it?
I did two of them at the same time. My brother Brett and I, it probably took around 8 months to build the two bikes properly because they were the first ones that I'd done. So I was new to everything and new to learning, and one of the things that you'll like about this particular bike, Macca, is that's a metal tank, mate. None of this plastic.
What's the most favourite thing on the bike? Is, the pipe? Is it the shocks? What's one thing that you go, wow?
Macca, it's as simple as the sound of it. It sounds just fantastic. Unfortunately, we'll never get that proper sound on TV, but when you listen to them on a race day, you can pick them out in the crowd. The Hondas sound, just marvellous. They're a great sounding bike. I'm hooked on the sound and always will be.
Thank you very much, Shane, for being part of Blokes and Their Bikes. It's absolutely love this bike. I reckon it's the most sexiest bike even today. So thanks for being part of Blokes and Their Bikes.
Mac, I really appreciate that. And next time you're up this way, mate, you just bring your helmet with you and you can have a bit of a ride on this particular bike, and that'll really make your day.
Mate, can't wait. Okay, guys, that's all we got time for. We'll see you next time. And remember, if it's classic, it's fantastic.
F1 Moto is an online retail store selling motorbike, ATV and PWC parts and accessories. Whether you're looking for general service, rebuild parts or increased performance, F1 Moto is a website for you. F1 Moto offers free shipping within Australia and the staff are available by phone to answer any questions you may have. So check them out at f1moto.com.au or call on 02 4681 9958.
MXTV is proudly supported by KTM, Alpine Stars, Kawasaki and Pirelli. Milwaukee's Worksite Radio features premium speakers and 40-watt amplifiers producing rich, full sound. Weather-sealed auxiliary compartment protects MP3 players and other audio devices. Made from shock-absorbing ABS polymer and steel construction, protects against weather and abusive job site conditions. And it also has a bottle opener.
Welcome back to MXTV, thanks to Modal. Well, earlier in the year, Lee had a chance to ride the championship-winning Serco Yamaha YZ250F, so he jumped at it. Let's check it out.
Well, it's been a cracker of a day here at Queensland Moto Park, where I've had the opportunity to ride the current #1 plated MX2 class winner, Luke Clout's Yamaha 250 4-stroke from this year. What a bike it is. Definitely a lot of horsepower, let me tell you. For someone who normally doesn't really enjoy riding lights bikes too much, this thing was an absolute ball of fun, let me tell you. Now, while this bike has a massive amount of horsepower, one thing that took me a little bit to get the hang of is the noise that comes from this machine. The top of the tank, or where the petrol tank is on most of the bikes, has been cut out and a little bit of wire mesh put there, so all the induction noise comes straight up. And it's quite possibly the loudest bike I've ever had the pleasure of riding. You really can feel when that power gets put to the ground, but definitely a set of earplugs would go a long way. The thing that stood out to me the most was the mid-range and imagine top end over rev of this bike. You could pull a gear as long as you liked and it would just keep pulling and pulling. It didn't matter if you were going up the steepest hill here today. This thing had a lot of horsepower, but you had to keep it in that meaty part of the power. If you let it go down too low in the rev range, started to lose just that little bit of torque. But man, that top end power, unbelievable. The suspension on Luke Clout's bike, very nice. Now, I can't be too critical and judge a bike that's been set up on something that, you know, a rider that's 70, 72 kilo when I'm 85 kilo. So what I have to do is I have to go on the action of the suspension and how it works on the smaller bumps. For me, for sure, it blew through the stroke a little bit on some of the bigger hits, and particularly takeoff ramps slamming into the face. I noticed a really big difference there. But the little bumps, the choppy bumps going into the corners, this thing handled exceptionally well. It really let the tyres stick to the ground and you didn't have to worry about the back end stepping out to the side or the front wheel washing out on you. A lot of traction here, and obviously gained by the fact that the plushness in the first part of that suspension, really good. Now overall, Luke Clout's championship-winning Serco Yamaha for 2014. What a bike. He needed to create a bike that was a monster horsepower-wise because it's up against a 250cc two-strokes. You couldn't just go and build yourself a torquey bottom-end, nice smooth bike because brute horsepower is what's needed against those bikes, particularly with the longer straight. So I can certainly see the direction that they've gone, and I agree with what they've done for sure. Well, I've got to say, Belly, that thing was seriously loud, and in all honesty, I needed some earplugs. But in true credit to Serco, they've managed to build themselves an engine that's definitely competitive against those 250 two-strokes.
Well, you're one lucky man being able to ride those sorts of bikes. Not many people get to do it, especially in Australia, let me tell you. And next up, we have a look at the series that bike won its class in the MX2 class, and we speak to the director, Kevin Williams.
My time in motocross started in 1978 as a rider at the Melbourne North motocross track, riding a YZ85D is where I first got introduced to this baby. I guess for me to get into promoting events, you know, my dad was always an official, ran the Gippsland Centre, and I used to help him. And then 20 odd years ago now, they were struggling to get somebody to help with promotion. I had a background in radio and marketing, and so I went along and helped them, and one thing grew to another. And 18 years later, here we are, you know, at Swan Hill for event 305. Over the 18 years of running the event, I've been obviously heavily involved in the Australian Motocross Championship. Was fortunate enough to be the event director to run the 2 World Motocross Grand Prix here in Australia, and I was brought in with 6 months to go to take over and direct the OSDE, and that was a great experience down at Traralgon in '98, and be a part of that awesome team of over 500 people was fantastic. You know, I've run scooter racing, we've ran Supercross for a number of years with different promoters and the event coordination, so you know, pretty much if it's got 2 wheels and somebody needs a hand, we've been around. When we first started this, it was basically me and my wife, and we'd get to the track early and we'd have star pickets to put the signage up. They were like 20 metres off, big banners, to travelling around Australia in a high-ace van with a little trailer on the back. So today we have, you know, 4 or 5 vehicles on the road. We've got a logistics team that arrives here 4 days before. For me, race day, if I've done all my work properly, I should be able to stop and smell the roses, enjoy the racing, drink the coffee and chat with the people. You know, we strive every year to improve, and they're not massive improvements, just small steps. Every year we want to get it better. You know, we've seen promoters come in the past and they talk about they're going to do this and they're going to do that, and they tear up a heap of money. We just try to do things sustainable, year on year, and every time we make an improvement, we want to make sure we can keep it next year. For me, I guess it's about, you know, if you can make your hobby your job, then you never work a day in your life. You know, there's some days where it's bloody hard work, but generally, you know, I truly love what I'm doing every day. I get out of bed and I look forward every weekend to coming and seeing the faces. You know, plenty of the faces around the pits, you know, they constantly change, but there's some the same. You know, Craig Dack, Jay Foreman, Rob T. I've known those guys for the whole 18 years that we've been here. You know, I've been fortunate enough to run a couple of World Motocross Grand Prix and travel around the world with this sport. And that's the best part about it. It's the people you meet and the camaraderie that you have, and being able to go to work and smile every day.
We're here at the 2014 KTM Hattah Desert race. The Hattah Desert race is the second biggest desert race in Australia, but it's not just for desert racers and enduro riders. There are plenty of motocrossers that race this event, and also lots of trail riders, the everyday punter that come out to have a crack. Now, the reason we're here at the Hattah Desert race, Brendan and Jamie have entered into the Industry Cup, and they've also brought their kids along to make it a family affair. So let's go see how they went. This is how the event works. On the Saturday, we have Prologue Day. Our seniors go out and determine their starting order for the Sunday's main event. And on Saturday, we also have our junior riders out there, and they get to have their time to shine on an extended version of the Prologue track. The Sunday format is 4 hours for our pro riders, 2 hours for our clubmen and women riders, and an Industry Cup which runs for 4 hours, that is Pony Express. So, Paul, it's fantastic to be able to have you guys from the governing body out here having a ride today. How'd you find it?
Oh, it's terrific. We just love the opportunity. Generally, we're all working on the weekends and things like that around events, trying to help promote the sport and things like that, so we don't really get a chance to ride much. So this is a perfect opportunity. Thank the club for putting an Industry Cup into the program so we can all have a bit of fun, and we applaud everything they do. It's a terrific event.
It's a different beast to any other race. It's a true cross-country. It's a multi-lap circuit. So not only is the track tough, it's also a mental challenge because you have to come past the finish line and keep going, which messes with a lot of people. But the sand, the atmosphere, the committee do a fantastic job. This race really is quite special. It's an incredible atmosphere from the get-go on Friday night all the way to the finish line on Sunday, and it's one of my favourites.
Jamie, how'd you find it this year?
Mate, as per every year, it was tough, mate. The sand, the whoops, the riders, the swappers, really tough going.
And what about you, Bally?
Kate, I can't say the same, mate. It was super tough for me. Jamie rode really, really well, mate. I was struggling out there. The sand just seemed to get bigger and bigger whoops as we were driving through it. It was actually hard to ride slow on the joint. You know, you had to ride fast, and then when you rode fast, mistakes happen. Let me tell you.
So, Jamie, tell me, what did you find the most enjoyable about the entire event?
Look, I got to say, this event is just special. It's hard to put your finger on what actually is so special about it, but there's at least, I don't know, 700 guys here who are here to have fun.
So, Jamie, does that mean we're going to be seeing you back again next year?
I got to hope so. Fingers crossed that Kawasaki are willing to give me another 450 like they did this weekend. Made it so much more enjoyable on a brand new bike, so fingers crossed, a bit more training needed though.
Now, Bally, surely we're going to see you back again, mate.
Listen, at the end of the day, there was no chance, but now as the hours roll on and the days roll on, I probably will be back again. I think, though, this year I think I come a little bit wide-eyed and thought, yeah, I'll just do it easy. You can't trail ride this. It's just so hard. So next year I'm going to get out in the sand, do a little bit more sand riding, and I think I'll enjoy it a little bit more. There's probably 10 minutes of the whole event that you just love and you really enjoy it, but I can't keep that up for that long, you know, for 40 minutes a lap. So I think the next time I come out, I'm going to do a lot more training and really get into that sand and have a bit more fun.
Well, that's it. We're all wrapped up here at the Hattah Desert race. Make sure if you want to race this event next year that you get your entries in nice and quick because it sells out and it's certainly not one that you want to miss.
(2014) Carrier Toy Hauler 360, a caravan designed for the adrenaline junkie. Thrill seeker, the wanderer, the ones who are not bound to your average getaway, but bound for adventure. Bring your favourite toys along and go on that trip you've always wanted. Carrier toy haulers are available from the following dealerships: MXTV is proudly supported by Suzuki, Bell Helmets, Yamaha, and SKF. In this week's product review, we take a look at Alpine Star's top-of-the-range Techstar gear. The Techstar jersey is purpose-built to meet the most demanding off-road conditions. The Techstar jersey is constructed from a vented and extremely lightweight main chassis, and incorporates mesh panels on the arms and torso, offering complete freedom of movement, pre-curved sleeves, elbow padding and stretch inserts. The Techstar is one solid performer. Perforated mesh inserts around the collar for excellent breathability, especially when using Alpinestar's BNS neck support. Cut longer in the rear tail area for compatibility with Alpinestar's MX pants, plus rear silicone grip to help keep the jersey tucked in. The Techstar pant delivers bags of attitude and championship performance. The class-leading Techstar pant continues to evolve and set the industry standard, with a superior fusion of technical performance, durability and premium comfort features. Innovative design elements in the patented Babel knee design and a vector back panel provide unsurpassed comfort and mobility, so you can take on the ruts and berms with confidence in this supremely lightweight pant. Strategically die-cut perforated panels and mesh inserts for increased and efficient ventilation. Heavy nylon ripstop reinforcement on the seat area provides abrasion resistance in a hip key pocket for key storage. So there you go guys, new for 2014 is the Alpinestar's Techstar range.
Welcome back to MXTV. Well, up next, Lee and young gun Lukey take the 2015 KX250F through its paces.
We're here at Frankston Motorcycle Park testing the brand new 2015 model KX250F. And standing right next to me, Lukey Lee, he's going to talk us through some of the changes that we're seeing on this new model bike. Take us through.
Some of the changes they made to the 2015 Kawasaki 250F is adjustable triple clamp stand foot pegs, oversized braking, front and rear discs, more power to the engine and a lot of new bling to the bike.
Well, it sounds like a few changes that are going to look very good out there on the track. Let's hope it works good on the track. We're about to put it to the test. Going to go throw some helmets, goggles and gloves on. Let's do it. Well, the sun is shining and we're in moto heaven here at Frankston City Motorcycle Park, testing the brand new 2015 Kawasaki KX250F. This thing is an awesome bike, let me tell you. No major changes for 2015, but the small changes they have made reflect exceptionally well out there on the track. The small little changes to suspension, you can notice it soaks up those big hits and the little hits really well. Just minor changes to the engine, but somehow it's managed to have a massive difference out there on the track. And for me, weighing in around 85 kilo, you can really feel it out there. Normally not a fan of the small bore bikes. This thing pulls me out of corners, even the deepest of the corners. And the 270mm front disc up the front really stops this thing well. And that lighter bike, the 250 compared to the 450, she really stops on a dime, this thing. Now, Lukey Lee, what did you think? This is more you, isn't it? The 250 compared to the 450. You look so at home on this bike today.
Yeah, well, the truth is I fell in love with this bike as soon as I threw a leg over it. Massive changes since last year. I noticed the suspension, brakes, power of the bike was definitely a night and day difference from last year's model. The front forks of the bike compared to last year was a lot plusher, which actually suits me being a 65 kilogram rider. Definitely a lot plusher setup, but it also handled those big hits out there really well. The engine in this bike was definitely a massive difference from last year's model. The bike is pretty much ready to race as it is. All I recommend is put an exhaust system on it, maybe change the mapping a little bit, and then you're good to go.
Now for me personally, looks-wise, this is one of the coolest looking production bikes on the market. If you take your attention up to the front of the bike, black triple clamps, a raw metal look to the outer coating of the forks. Looks really, really trick, just like Chad's or Villapoto's over in America. You look at the titanium nitrate coated sliders, black bottoms, black rims. It really does have a factory look up the front. That's my favourite part, looks-wise. How about you, Luke?
My favourite thing on this bike would have had to be definitely the look of the forks. Awesome looking forks, and just to top it off, the green engine plugs make the bike look factory straight out of the box.
Well, plenty of fun had by both of us here today on the small bore 250 Kawasaki, the brand new 2015 model. Thanks so much for joining us once again, Luke.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I had an awesome time riding this bike. I actually couldn't get enough of it. I didn't want to come in.
Well, one thing I can promise you is this bike right here is going to feature right up there come shootout time very soon. Make sure you keep your eyes and ears peeled.
For all your motorcycle insurance needs, visit swanmotorcycle.com.au.
Well, buddy, it looked like you and Luke were having a ball out there today.
We certainly did, and I must give him credit. He's trying his best to teach me how to scrub, but he's got his work cut out, that's for sure. Well, guys, that's all we've got time for this week. You need to make sure for your chance to score yourself this sensational Milwaukee prize pack, you need to go on to MXTV and Milwaukee's Facebook and Instagram page. Make sure you share and like us, and you're giving yourself a real good chance.
Don't forget, Hogan Racing 11, get onto his Instagram. It's a great one to follow, let me tell you.
Thanks, Belly. Well, that's all we've got time for. Thanks so much for joining us once again, Belly.
Thank you, Lee. Wouldn't be anywhere else. I love it.
Why would we be anywhere else? Thanks for joining us this week, but until next week, make sure you hold it on.
So, Tuff, you've been a part of
Last call. We need you all up here, competitors. Please make your way up. If you're not here shortly, we will.
Jealous.
Yeah, bloody oath you will. I'll be texting.
Did you smoke Cam Taylor in the Industry Cup?
Yeah, no.
We can't say that because
He certainly did, and I got to give credit. The little Mad Dog's trying his best to teach me how to scrub, but he's got his work cut out, that's for sure. I just saw you in the camera go like that. Make sure you hold it on.
Scrub it.
Scrub it.
MXTV is proudly brought to you by Swan Insurance, protecting motorcyclists since 1956. And Motor, quality oils for more than 150 years.